This episode is brought to you by Santos Threads. Make sure to visit Santos-Threads for the latest and greatest in men's and women's Latino urban-inspired streetwear. Visit SANTOS-THREADS.com. You are now listening to the Santos Says podcast, episode number 47. Once again, back with you guys. Make sure to follow me on social media, Santos Thread Shop on Instagram and Santos Thread Shop on TikTok. And of course, if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, comment, the whole thing. On this episode, I will have a guest, special guest. He is a rapper, songwriter, MC, lyricist to the 10th degree. His name is ENY The Artist. And without further ado, joining me now, he is a rapper, he is an artist, a songwriter, representing Queens. I want to welcome to the show, ENY The Artist.
At the Queens, I see you, my brother.
Yeah, my story, I have a... So with me, I mean, this is going to be about you, but I have a love affair with Queens. So
Okay.
I grew up in Brooklyn, but
Shout out to Brooklyn.
I was always in Queens.
Okay.
And like I lived in Queens as well. So it's like I kind of rep both because I always used to be in Queens. My first job was in Queens. My first job in Queens. I did internship. Like I was always there. My favorite baseball teams from Queens. So I was always there. I was always this Mets, right?
Baby, we looking good.
Yeah. So that's why. So like my favorite rappers from Queens. So it's like when Nas was going against Jay, I was in people hated me because I was like they wanted me to pick Jay.
You were in Brooklyn, bro. You were
Brooklyn, yeah. People hated me. I got abused verbally, and I had to explain to them. I said I like Jay. I love Jay, but like Jay didn't resonate with me. Like I like thoughtful shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like it's like with Biggie and Pac. Like I love Biggie too, but I like Pac. I always lean towards Pac more because I like shit like that. But
I wasn't
anyway,
able to appreciate Pac until I was older, bro. Like when I was younger, I was like straight big.
It was easier.
I was like straight because New York. But then as I got older and I started experiencing life more and my mind broadened, I started really understanding the things that Pac was saying. And then that started resonating with me. Like now, Pac was never in my top 5 growing up. Now he is.
Yeah. Nah, no doubt, bro. No doubt. So let's get right into it, man. I love this. I love this conversation. I could go forever with that. We're going to try to bring that back around maybe when we talk about your favorite MCs and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So first of all, I'm glad to have you on. I know we talked offline a long time ago, right? Getting you on. First of all, I want to tell you, I'm a fan of you and what you've done. And I know you're very transparent about everything you're going through, and I'll let you tell it. But let's start at the beginning. Okay. Talk about ENY The Artist, where you come from.
I come from a small place called Jackson Heights, Queens. Some will call it the cocaine capital of the world at one point. You know what I'm saying?
We know the story. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's accurate.
Yeah, very accurate. You know what I'm saying? And I grew up in an era where, the Colombian cartel was very active, especially where I'm from, like the block that I'm from, 90th between 90th and 89th Street on 37th Avenue. That was the hub for everything that had to do with Colombian cartel shit. So growing up, man, we saw that. I'll tell you something that's incredible. That's like one of those like core memories. I remember I was like 8 years old, bro. And I saw a Rolls Royce pull up to the corner of my block. And I never saw a Rolls Royce before, And it was like beautiful. It was white. It was gorgeous. And Pablo Escobar jumped out of the car.
What?
And I'm like, oh, I knew who he was.
Right, of course you did. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, and he went into my building. And I'm like, yo, even at 7 years old, you're like, yo, this is not normal right now. This is not normal. You know what I'm saying? So like we grew up in that environment, you know, like my mother, she owned what's called a party goods store. For those that don't
Right,
know,
right.
it's
Yeah.
like a store before like the big chains came out. A lot of smaller party goods stores that you could get everything you need for a party, right? So
Yeah.
and she owned the store on the block, and this is what is beautiful about it. Like usually when you're involved and you're in some sort of like a cartel or gang infested neighborhood, the gangs want to extort the businesses that are in that area, right?
Yeah, of course.
That was never the case with my mother. They were more so protecting her and protecting the business. And like, if somebody would try to like shoplift or something, like it was not gonna go well for them, you know. So
Right.
I'm saying that to say we grew up in a place where it was very family oriented. It was very moral oriented. You couldn't step out of line in certain ways. You couldn't do certain things. You couldn't act in a certain way because there were rules in place. And if you're from this place, they're gonna look at you as a representation of us, and you cannot be out here acting any sort of way, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
that's Jackson Heights, Queens, right? That's where I'm from. That's what I represent to the fullest extent of who I am, you know. And
And that was Griselda too, right? Griselda
yeah,
was that era
she was
too.
the
That was
queen.
Griselda.
Like she was the queen. Like anything that came out of Jackson Heights, Queens, that had to do with Griselda Blanco.
Yeah.
Period. You know, like just
Mm-hmm.
period. You know.
She got a piece. Everything,
Yeah,
yo.
everything,
She ate.
everything,
She
that,
ate.
everything
Yep.
that came out of Jackson Heights, Queens was Griselda Blanco.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but in that being that was, you know, she was connected to these major players at the same time, like Pablo and all these other people, you know, and you would see these major players, you know what I mean, like just walking randomly down the block, like this guy's like he moves like 10 tons of cocaine a day, like you know, he's on the
Like
FBI most
nothing.
wanted list, and he's just chilling on the corner having a cup of coffee, you know. So those are the things that I was raised around. And I always say, like, I didn't have your typical New York City upbringing because where I'm from was so different from all the other hoods.
You're right. No, you're right.
You know
You're
what I
right.
mean?
Jackson Heights is so different from any
Yeah.
other place. I will say Queens. I always tell people all the time. I mean this. Like every borough's a vibe.
Mm.
I always say Queens gives you a vibe that no other borough gives you, and especially the neighborhood pockets,
Yeah.
because it's so international.
And
It's
Queens
so
is so
international.
crazy because if you're from North Queens, which was where Jackson Heights, Woodside, Corona, LIC, it's a completely different vibe than if you go to South Queens.
Yes, agreed.
Completely different. We're two different
World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two different worlds. So yeah, man, that's me, like, as coming up and the upbringing that we had, and as a kid, they used to come up to us and just give us money for no reason, and just, hey, you're out here. They were really protect the neighborhood, So I came up idolizing that kind of stuff, just having that, damn, like I belong here, that sense of being from a place, and I think that translates into everything that I do today. I keep that. I try to keep that as close to my heart as I can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely, and it shows in your music too, right? Because I mean, I approached this when I first saw your stuff. As a fan, which is why I wanted to get you on, because I really, one of the things that resonated with me was just how authentic you were, how authentic you seemed.
Yeah,
and I was like, I respect that. Like so many people, especially nowadays when everything is so PC, people are so apologetic. And you remember we talked, I don't know if you remember this conversation. It was a little bit about Latinos using the N-word.
That was our first that's how we met.
That was our first conversation, right?
That's how we met.
And we disagreed on it.
Yeah.
But it was respectful, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it was never like you know what I mean?
Like, difference of opinion with somebody. That doesn't mean they're your enemy, bro.
Nah, because I see where you came from too, because it was like that for me too. It used to be like, it was the same thing. Like we used it like it was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I kind of look at it like it's more like a preference, a choice for me.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like that's all it is. Like it's nothing like, because I get the mentality too. Because the way we grew up, it's not right. The way we grew up, like if you go to the South, it's different, right? But the way we grew up here,
man, listen, bro, it's such a different world outside of New York City, man. Things are so. I lived in Denver, Colorado for like 2 years, right? Yeah. And I never knew what segregation looked like until I got to Denver. Like, shout out to my brother Looney, that dude Looney from Colorado, one of the realest dudes I ever met in my life. He's a producer. So when I went out there, he was the only person I really knew because I already knew him through the music business. He brought me into a studio, right? And I didn't know how segregated this place is until I walked into that studio, and he's black. Everybody in the studio was black, and I saw they saw me walk in, a Latino, and they looked at me like, "Yo, you don't belong here," you know, like, "What are you doing here?" You know. And then he had to say, "Nah, he's from New York." And immediately when he said that, they're like, "Oh, all right."
Yeah, because they get it, because they know.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's what I said. The way we grow up, right? And that's why, like, I don't regret having grown up where I did, because the way we grew up is so different. Our outlook is so more open-minded. You know what I mean? Not that we don't
more open-minded,
but
because we all grew up together, blacks, Hispanics.
Right.
I mean, just Jackson Heights in itself is the most multicultural place in New York City.
Everything.
You know?
Everything.
Like,
Asian.
You got Colombians here. You got the Indians over there. You got the Mexicans over here, you know, and it's all like in a 10, 20 block radius.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Nah, no doubt, man. So coming up, right? So you growing up, you're taking everything in.
Yeah.
You're doing your thing. You know, you growing up and stuff. At what point you got bit by that bug? The bug, that the hip hop bug. At what point?
All right. So growing up, I was like a very problematic child, right? Like very. Like, shout out to my moms, man. That poor woman went through hell with me, man. So like, I was always getting. Like when 9/11 happened, I was locked up. So like when that whole thing happened, I was in jail. So when the hip hop bug hit me, like for real, because I was always a child of hip hop. I love hip hop. Like the first album I ever bought was written by Nas. Nas is my favorite rapper too, by the way.
Yes.
That was the first album I ever bought, and I sat with, and I just, you know, played it until the tape pop type stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, so like, I was always a child of hip hop, and then there was this one time I had gotten sent upstate to like it's like a reform school type of thing, and in that reform school, it's called the Summit School. Shout out to the Summit School. And in that reform school, one of my boys, shout out to my brother Mega, he had a makeshift studio in his room, right? He had like built a studio before Pro Tools, before all it. He had figured out like somehow, some way to record. He had a mic, all that. And he was like, "Yo, come here, look at this." And I went into his room. He had the booth that's in the closet. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, this is crazy." He was like, "Yo," he passed me a pen and a paper. He was like, "Yo, write something." I'm like, "I don't rap." He was like, "Well, you gonna rap today, bro." And he threw me the pen. And he just threw me the pen and the paper. And we just started rhyming. And then I asked him, I was like, "What do you like? What is this? Why are you doing this?" And he was like, "Cuz, bro, I want to get out of this. I want to get out of this. And this is I think this is what's gonna get me out of this." And I was like, "Damn, escapism." You know what I mean? Like, damn, right. If it doesn't get me out of this monetarily, it's gonna get him out of this mentally, because we're in this situation that we're like in this, you know, quote unquote kind of jail type of setting, and it's gonna take us away for a second, and we can just be creative and be in this moment. You know what I mean? So from there, man, we made 100 horrible songs, but it was just you know, that just being able to record, you know what I'm saying? Just having that, you know, and then from there, it was like, "Oh, I want to do this. I want to do this." And it's important that I say this piece, man, and shout out to Uncle Gus, and shout out to Tommy Life, American Life Clothing, because without them, there would be no ENY The Artist, period. So like, fast forward, I got out of the reform school. Now I want to be a rapper, but I don't know what to do. You know, I don't know about booking studios. I don't know none of that, you know?
Right, of course.
So I was like, the only thing I know what to do is just be on the block. So what I used to do a lot is I would just take a radio, and I would get a bunch of instrumentals. And back then, they had the J Arms, the CDs.
Yes,
like that. You know what I mean?
The instrumentals, instrumental beat tapes.
Yeah. So they
had like 30, like a minute and 30 seconds in loops.
Yeah. So I used to have a lot of those, and I used to write raps. I used to have the black and white notebook. So what I used to do is I used to take my radio, I used to put it on the block, and I used to just play instrumentals, and I'll just be freestyling all day. My friends got sick of me, but I was just out there freestyling, right? So one day, I saw this guy. He was an older guy, and he was just like watching me, and he was just watching me from a distance though, but watching. And it ended up being a guy that I called Uncle Gus. And then like after that, like a few days later, he saw me again, and he approached me, and he was like, "Yo, you're talented, bro." He was like, "You have a lot of talent." He's like, "What are you doing out here? You're like wasting your life out here. You're not doing nothing, you know."
Right.
Like, I was like, "Man, I want to do music, but I really don't. I don't have no plugs. I don't really know what I'm doing. I know that I want to rap, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to make it, put this into an industry setting." He was like, "I got you." And he called this gentleman by the name of Tommy Life. And Tommy Life, he had a clothing line. Well, he still has a clothing line. It's called American Life Clothing. And he was like, "Yo, I believe in you." He came to the block, and he was like, "Rap for me." And I just started rapping for him. And he was like, "Oh, nah, you got talent." And from there, he started paying for studio time. He started, putting clothes on my back. We started booking shows.
Wow.
And he basically was he birthed what it is now, that like the serious artist that I am today. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, man. And so he was basically your mentor. So he basically mentored you
He mentored,
into it.
he birthed me. My mentor, if I gotta say a mentor, like, no, I could say he was more so like a father figure to me, because I really didn't have a father figure growing up or anything. So he became that. Like, he made sure, like, whenever we did a show, I had sneakers, I had the fresh everything. Like, he made sure I was good, made sure my image was right, but mentorship, like, who took it from where it was and then just made it into, like, we put it on crack, so to speak. That shit, I gotta give that to Sleepy the Barber. Shout out to Sleepy, yeah. Because through Tommy Life, I met a DJ by the name of DJ Furious, and me and DJ Furious started connecting really well. He became my DJ, was DJing all of my shows at the time. And we were moving around, and he has a brother by the name of Sleepy the Barber. So Sleepy came in the picture. He heard, it's almost kind of the same scenario. He just heard the music, and he was like, "Yo, I believe in you." He's like, "I'm gonna manage you. I'm gonna become your manager." And I'm like, "All right, let's do it."
Right. Yeah.
I was like, "All right, let's go." When I tell you, man, we had a run in, like, because the run we're gonna go on now is gonna be crazier, but we had a run in, like, 2011, 2012, that, like, 2010, 2011, 2012. That was incredible, bro. We had a record called Everything New York at the time, and Camilla was playing it on Hot 97. Like, it was getting played on Power 105. Shade 45 was playing it. We had an ill video to it, and that's all through Sleepy. Sleepy connected all those dots. Like, I'm trying to change that now, and I have. I've never been the too approachable type of person, because I've always been, like, standoffish. Like, if I don't know you for 20 years, I don't want to talk to you type of person,
Yeah.
So Sleepy was always the more social one. So he would go out and go to the clubs and talk to the DJs and shake hands and kiss babies, and, like,
kiss baby, right.
Yeah.
The politics.
He would make those moves, and I used to be like, "Yo, I love when you call me, no homo. I would love it. I love when you call me at 3:00 in the morning, because I know if you're calling me at 3:00 in the morning, it's because you made something major just happen."
Right. He's
so
working.
He'd call me,
working.
and he would be, like, at Perfections in the strip club, and, like, Camilla would be DJing. And he'd be like, "Listen," and then, like, it'll be my song playing, and Camilla's playing my record. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, "Yeah," But I was never the one that want to go out to the club and, be in the mix like that, because I was always like, "Nah, that's not. I'm not." I end up.
You didn't strike. To be honest, I'll be honest with you. You don't strike me as that type of person either.
No,
that's not the vibe I get from you. No, you're not that, because you're one of those people that you seem like you're very cut and dry. You're very, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna play this politic game, right? You're very much like, if I rock with you, I rock with you. If I don't rock with you, fuck you, right? That's kind of like, in a way, I'm saying, not necessarily like that.
No, and it's 100%. I mean, it has hindered me in ways, you know what I'm saying?
It could sometimes, for sure.
Definitely.
I get it.
And I had to learn to, like, yo, you gotta chill, you gotta relax, bro. Like, you gotta be open.
You gotta play the game sometimes. You got to.
You have to. It's just the name of the game, bro. You gotta be approachable. Fat Joe says something that's prolific, and it fits in exactly what we're talking about. He said he missed a $10 million check for being standoffish and having people around him that were not.
I heard, I seen that interview.
Yeah. So he said that some guy was looking for him to hand him a $10 million check, and he couldn't get to him because every time he tried to get to him, somebody would block him.
Yeah.
So So you can't be that
Well,
way.
he
You
was
gotta
running
be
around with
open
the
to the
squad.
opportunity. You got to, bro.
He had goons around him.
Super goons.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
goons. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm trying to keep my options open, be more approachable, give people a chance, and give opportunity to, relationships to grow within the industry, and just expand my horizons more. But still keeping the authentic part of me of like, if I give you a chance and you just rub me the wrong way, then you a bozo to me and it's fine. you know so it's
Yeah, yeah,
fine.
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. You know what though? You're gonna run into a lot of bozos. It's just what it is. Like even me, like I could tell you, man, listen, there's so many interviews that were supposed to happen that didn't happen because they were bozos. And because people assume that because I'm always smiling and I'm always on some nice guy, positive shit, that
Now,
it's
but you
always
know
like
what?
that.
Listen, a real one knows a real one, and I could tell from jump. You a type of person that you are. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. Type of person.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm
No
saying?
doubt.
And I could tell that. And I love that. That's yeah. That's the good energy that I need. That's what I'm
Of
talking about.
course, brother. Listen, that's what it's all about. That's why, like, I gravitated towards you, and I told you a little bit of the story too. I was at a Puerto Rican festival years ago in El
Oh
Barrio.
yeah.
You were there. I didn't know it back then, but I remember when you played back the performance. I was like, shit, I was there.
Yeah.
You were there. Talk to me about that experience when you did that, because you were telling me about all the stuff you were
Man,
doing. Go
shout out to
ahead.
Sleepy, bro. Sleepy's a one of a kind guy. Like I call him the battery. Like if like in our ecosystem, Sleepy's the battery, and then my man Insane Killer Kane, he's like the heart. Sleepy. So like we did two, and we've done two of those, right? So that one that you're talking about, that was the last one we actually did. So the way it happened was we were actually scheduled to perform at the smaller stage, the 93 point something stage,
Right, right, right,
which is the smaller stage, is down the block, right?
right.
So we ended up going over there first, but they were taking forever. And this actually taught me a lesson about fake industry and real industry, like in the music business. It was taking forever. There was a lot of politics involved with that stage. Like it was just like people were trying to like front and make themselves look like they were in a bigger position than they were, and it was just an annoying. Yeah, it was annoying. So I'm like, yo, bro, nah, let's get out of here, bro. This is annoying. We got booked to perform here, and they want to make us jump through hoops. Like I'm not with none of this shit. So Sleepy was like, nah, we came to perform. We gonna perform. Let's go. And he was like, let's go to the mega stage. I'm like, why you want to go to the mega stage?
The mega
Come on,
stage.
let's go. He's like, you ENY The Artist, nigga. That's new ENY, bro. You're performing. So we walked out to the mega stage, and the guy with the clipboard is there. And Sleepy's like, yo, you got to get my artist in. I don't know what's going on with you guys, bro. You guys are so unorganized. My artist got to be in here. The guy, just off the energy that Sleepy was giving him, didn't ask no questions.
Ooh.
Opened the gate. Go inside. He's like, what time is he performing, man? I don't care about your list. What time is he performing? He was like, I can fit him in after this act. And then boom, Debo the whole shit. Debo that whole situation. And we were supposed to only perform one song, and we ended up Deboing and performing 2 records.
Listen, sometimes you got to be assertive, man. Like that's the thing. There's a fine line between overstepping, and it's an art, and people need to either have it or you don't. There's a fine line between being overly aggressive and disrespectful or being assertive. To get what you want. Yep. And that's what y'all did, because otherwise you would have been on the little stage and you probably would have done half of the first song for
Yeah, because they were playing a lot of games. People were like, people were posturing and trying to like make themselves. It was like, bro, we did the main stage and we didn't get none of these hassles. They just let us right in, because sometimes, like you said, when you're assertive and you know what you want, and then you make yourself known and you have respect for yourself. The way he was just like, nah, you here to perform and you're going to perform, and that's what it is. That's it. So that's what we did, man. And shout out to Sleepy, man. He's crazy, bro. But yeah.
That's what's up. Nah, I love that story. That's a great story. Talk to me about, because I know this for a fact. I want the audience to know about it too. You did Shade 4-5.
Yeah.
You always, what I like about your social media on Instagram, you always like to, you repurpose content.
Yeah,
And I like
lot.
that. I
Yeah,
love that because that's a reminder. People don't know. If people don't know you, they're gonna learn who you
exactly.
are. Talk
If
to me
people
about
follow
the
you,
Shade
people follow
45.
you every day, so that you could make those new ones. They go, we did this and we've done that, but you know,
Right, right. That's how I found you. That's
yeah,
how I found you looking at an old performance that you did and an old song. I was like, yo, that's hot. That joint is hot. You're like, this old. You're
yeah,
like, I did this shit whatever amount of years ago. I was
yeah,
like, yo, that shit is hot.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But talk to me about the Shade 4 or 5, obviously meeting Sway and everything about that
Oh
experience.
yeah, all right, yeah, man. Shout out to Sway, man. Shit, that's another real one, man. He loves. He's really about the culture.
Yep.
Sway is about the culture. Like he gives artists a chance. So how that kind of came about. Um, so again, DJ Furious. DJ Furious has always been like the guest DJ at Sway in the morning. So like
Mm-hmm.
whenever Boy Wonder can't come in, he's always been like the
Yep.
backup, like to come in. So one day, Furious was there, and every time he was there, he always played one of my records, no matter what. Like, he was always like, if I'm here, if I'm at this platform, I'm playing your music, no matter what. So that day, at that time, we were pushing Untouchable, the original version, because we're actually revamping that version. So y'all know Untouchable's coming in a new video, new everything.
That's what's up.
So, yeah, he played Untouchable, and when he played Untouchable, Sway lost it, like this, like he made him bring it back like 10 times. Was yelling on the mic, "This is hip hop. This is what hip hop is." Like going crazy. Like had people like hitting me up, like I didn't know this was happening, and then random, yo, Sway's going crazy. Sway's going. People I don't know from a hole in the wall. People that were just listening to Sway, and then they threw my at name in the mix, and people just started following me. And Sway was like, I need him to come up here. I need him up here. And then a couple of weeks later, we went up. And this wasn't the first time I was at Shade 4 or 5, but obviously that's their flagship show. It's a Sway in the morning. It's their
Yeah, of
main
course.
thing,
That's big time. Yeah.
Yeah. And we went up there and we did what we did, and we shut it down, and it was like a dream come true to me, because you grow up watching certain people, and Sway is one of those people that I grew up watching, from the MTV News to having Sway in the morning, and having him when he had the other show in on the West Coast with his partner. Like he interviewed Biggie, Pac, and Barack Obama.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Like a person like that, you got to be like, damn, bro, like you did a
Yeah,
lot for
yeah.
this culture. You know what I'm saying? So that was it was a dream come true. Trying to go back up there because we we relocked.
I know. I've seen you.
So,
I've seen you.
we're trying to get back up there, and we're trying to do these things and really show off. Because see, back then, what was we were even though we had the assertiveness and we had the wants and we had the will, we weren't necessarily prepared business wise, So like a situation like that, a Sway interview, if you have something that's gonna come behind it that you can capitalize off the buzz that you will get from it, it could be a life changer. And at
Yeah.
that time, we didn't have that. Even though we were pushing Untouchable, we didn't have the pieces together to do the follow through the right way. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's why now we're revamping everything and we're positioning things now in such a way where every opportunity we're gonna make sure that we can capitalize off of it.
Yeah,
And
no
but
doubt.
no, even though this is Sway in the morning, so shout to Sway, man. That was incredible. That was an
Yeah.
incredible.
And you killed it. I mean, I saw the
Thank
video
you, bro.
footage. I mean, you killed it. You killed it.
Thank
You
you.
did your thing.
Yeah,
You
that's why I
always
did the video. Like, look at Sway's face, though. Like, look
his
at
face. No, I saw. Yeah, I saw his face. He was into it. He
yeah,
was into it, and I'm sure he's a busy dude, so it's not an easy place to get,
it's
to get
not.
into. But
It's
he
not.
is humble,
Yeah,
and
no.
he'll give you a shot.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
Which I like that. I
Yeah,
appreciated that.
yeah, bro.
Um, Going into you, right? Because you had taken some time off, obviously, and again, no pressure.
Yeah,
You can share what you want to share. You've been
absolutely.
very transparent.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I want to get into you and what you've had to battle with in recent time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you've had some health issues in recent time, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you're very upfront about your battle with cancer.
Yes. Yes.
Talk to the audience about how you feel right now, and what it is that what that has been like for you, as it's been a very difficult time.
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, difficult is an understatement sometimes, because not only was I going through this health crisis, at the same time I lost the love of my life too. Like, so going through a breakup at the same time as I'm going through these health issues, it was just like a double bang bang. Um, we went, it's one of those things that I want to advocate for us men to stop being neglecting to our bodies. Stop neglecting our bodies. Stop thinking that if we go to the doctor or we're getting regular checkups or if we put a lot of energy into our health that it makes us look soft or we're not men. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I did. I noticed something was wrong and I didn't act on it on time. You know, and I ignored it for, man. I first felt I first felt the tumor in like 2018. You know, but I just ignored it. And I was like, it's probably something else. It's probably this. I was like really justifying it in my head. Like, no,
Right.
no, it's not. And then until it got to the point that it was, not to say it was too late, but it got it got to a point where now I really have to fight, in order to, where it could have just been a simple procedure and it could have eradicated it from jump and that's it. Now I have to go through chemotherapy, I have to do surgery, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So I went through the chemo. Well, I did surgery first and they removed the lump, but then it had already spread. So it spread to my lymph nodes, it spread to my lung, it spread to my abdomen. So in order for us to battle that, I had to go through chemotherapy. I did 4 cycles. So one cycle consists of 5 days. So you go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. You do chemo those 5 days, and then you rest for 2 weeks, and then you do it again. After the 2 weeks, you do another 5 days. It's not an enjoyable experience, man. It's not enjoyable. It sucks. You're in pain. You wanna throw up. You don't feel like yourself. Like I haven't done chemo. I finished chemo maybe 2.5 months ago, and until today, I still do not feel like myself. I still have neuropathy. I still have lung capacity issues. I still have kidney issues. All that stemmed from not the cancer, but the chemotherapy. Because the
Wow.
cancer, I had the cancer, but all my other organs were fine. I was good, but the chemo really did a number on my body. So now where we're at with it, I mean, the chemo did there was significant shrinkage that happened, which is a great thing, obviously. But it didn't eradicate it completely. So they want to go in and do another 4 sessions of chemotherapy. And to that, I say go take a long walk off a short pier. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So right now we're just exploring what other options are out there. Getting a second opinion to see what that second opinion says, and see if we can find an alternative method that's not as taxing on the body, and see if we can beat this thing without having to put myself through that again. And that's basically where we at right now with it. But we're gonna beat
Yeah.
it. We're gonna win. We One thing about it is there's not a thought, there's not a bone in my body that doesn't completely feel like it ain't over. Like, nah, we beating this thing. Like, it's happening. Like, we just gotta have to, we're just gonna have to fight a little harder. But that's what fighters do. When we against the corner, when you against the ropes, we just gotta move a little bit, get out those ropes. But eventually, we're gonna make it to the other side. And that's how I feel right now.
You said a lot there about you, and I'm glad to see that you have that positivity. You have that you know, that fighting spirit, because you're gonna need that,
Yeah.
and you're gonna need that to get through it. And I remember when I heard about that story, I was upset about it to hear that to be the case, because I know you got so many plans. But at the same time, I know that you're a person who I could just tell that you're the type of person who's going to go out there and give it whatever you have. See, this is the thing. I'm not a doctor, right? So I was thinking when you were saying, because I remember you made an announcement. You said, "Look, I don't feel like doing another round, 4 rounds of chemotherapy."
Yeah.
And I can imagine the pushback that some people will probably give you, right?
I mean, everybody in my family, bro. Everybody
Right.
in my family is like, "What are you doing?" Nah,
It's
nah.
hard to. That's what I was gonna say. It's so hard. You until you're in those shoes, and I'm not gonna be the one to make the decision either. I can't say what I would or wouldn't do
Yeah.
unless you're in those shoes. You can't, like, the damage, the fatigue, the all the things that you feel from doing chemo. Who am I to tell you, or who's anybody to tell you what you should or should not do
Yeah.
to get yourself right? So I commend you for having that. I know that you're looking in the eye of fear right now. Not that you're
Yeah.
fearful.
Every
What I'm
day.
saying is every day you're faced with that,
Every
right?
day.
But you're gonna. I want to tell you, we're gonna manifest it. You're gonna get through it,
Yeah, bro. Hell
and
yeah.
I'm manifesting it with you as well. You're gonna get through it. You're gonna beat it. Do all your homework, which I know you're doing. Look at explore all the avenues, because there's more than one way to skin a cat.
I love that. I always say that saying. It's more than one way to skin a cat, man. There's no, it's one, 2 + 2 = 4, but also 3 + 1 = 4. So
That's
it's,
right. That's right. Or 1 + 4. I mean, 1 + 3 = 4.
yeah,
What? No, 0 + 4 = 4. Like, right. So
So at the end of the day, you gotta stay positive. You gotta keep that positive mindset.
so we got that out the way. I want to talk about what you have coming up as well, your projects, because I know
Yeah,
you're working, you're out there, and I see you working. I always love that you give everybody a look at what you're doing. We're
yeah,
gonna get into that in another minute or so.
yeah,
I
yeah.
want to get you, like, people always say, "Oh, top five this, top five that. Who's my top five? Who's a blah 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 top five?" Right? I want to ask you your top five. I want to know what is your top five underrated. So the greatest
Underrated.
underrated MCs. No, top five
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Top 5 underrated.
all time.
AZ, definitely. He's got to
Oh,
be in that.
I love Az.
Yeah, AZ got to be in that because people know he's nice, but AZ is just
They be
he doesn't
fronting on
get the props
Az,
he
bro.
deserves, yo. He doesn't get the props he deserves. AZ, um, damn. Honestly, I mean, as an MC, I don't think Ja Rule gets his props. As
I
an
agree.
MC,
Yeah, yeah.
as an MC, Ja Rule, because yeah, he had big records and he was very successful, but as an MC, he doesn't get the props that he deserves. So I'll put Ja Rule in that mix. Wow.
That's two.
Yeah, it's true. But I don't want to be too New York centric. That's what I'm trying to think about, like other regions. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen, it's your list. You could be
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
you
yeah.
want. Whatever
Yeah,
you want.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
if you want to, there's a few on the West Coast, I'm sure, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm
South.
saying. Razzcast.
Yes,
Razzcast
yes. Good
will
one.
be on that list. That's 3. Fucking Outcast, man. Outcast. That's 4 and 5 right there. Why Outcast? I think Andre gets his props, but
Big
just
Boy's underrated, I think.
yeah, man. What?
I agree.
Man,
Yeah.
yo.
Yep.
And then Outkast also, they get a lot of props because they broke down the barriers. But as MCs,
Yeah. The MCs. Yeah, and Big Boy too. Big Boy, especially Big Boy as well. Everybody knows Drake is spit.
Yeah,
But Big Boy be dropping.
It's like when you're standing next to a giant, no matter how
it's
tall
hard.
you are, that giant is always going to be a giant. And Andre 3000 is a giant when it comes to that. But I think as them as a collective, they don't get mentioned as the MCs that they are. And I think that's underrated. I think that list right there. Definitely.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. I hate that because as a group they are amazing. They hold the
incredible, bro. Incredible. Sonically, they made amazing records. They everything. It was just everything about them. And Andre took a lot of fashion risks. You know what I mean? But that was dope. Just everything. I love Outkast, man. Outkast is so dope.
See, when it came to hip hop, I never liked, and I hated when people would clown people for being different.
Mm.
I hated that. Like when people would make fun of like, I mean, it's a little. I even I laugh. Like Andre did make some funny
No,
clothing
you know, he
choices,
took
right?
risks.
Yeah,
He
yeah, it
took
took
risks.
risks. But you need that though. Like, and the same thing with like, remember Common used to rock like a crochet hat and shit. Like, you
They say that's
need that
the
though.
Erica Badu curse.
Hey, listen, if you were with Erica Badu, you may want to take it.
Listen,
I'm just saying.
I know what the power of that P do. So I
Yeah, of
already know.
course.
I know. Trust me, I
That
know.
so I have I'm gonna share with you mine, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
just
Let's go.
mentioned
Let's get it. Let's go.
I just mentioned one.
Let's go.
Common. I think
Common.
Common is criminally underrated.
Okay.
Common,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
He is. He is. He's dope. He's freaking amazing.
AZ is on my list too. Because I think AZ to me, you can make the argument top 5 lyricists. As a
Ever.
lyricist, not an
Ever.
artist, but lyricist.
That life's a bitch verse.
He
Just off
outdid Nas.
that
And
verse,
Nas
bro.
is the GOAT to me. He outdid
Yeah.
him. He outdid him on that shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I gotta admit it. He did.
Yo, I actually got to say that to AZ on the phone.
Yeah?
We spoke. I had a conversation with AZ on the phone. Shout out to my man Animal. Animal used to come to the barbershop a lot. And he used to be like, always like, yo, you so nice. He was like, yo, one day I'm gonna get you with AZ, because that's like AZ's brother. And one day he just like pulled out the phone and he was like, yo, you wanna talk to AZ? I was like, what? Of course I want to talk to AZ, bro. Yeah, and I got on the phone with AZ and I was like, yo, listen, Nas is my favorite rapper, but you the only person ever to outdo him on a record. I'm glad I got to like give him those flowers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nah, AZ is on that list. I'm gonna name one that might surprise you.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go.
All right. The OC. OC.
OC. From the West Coast?
No. OC. So okay. We talking OC with all right. OC, the one that was with Big L and them. From Brooklyn.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Wow, OC.
Damn, you a hip hop head for real. Okay.
OC from Brooklyn. From Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He didn't have I don't know what happened with him. He disappeared. But OC from Brooklyn, I think he's from East New York. I think. He's underrated. Like people like listen to those joints. Remember that joint, that Big Pun sample? Fuck who I offend and let the rappers begin. That's it. That's his joint.
I'm gonna go back.
Now. Time is up. Go back. Look up the joint. Time is up. All those joints. Those joints was hard.
Let me give an honorable mention since you mentioned Brooklyn. Sauce Money.
Yes. Oh, Sauce Money's nice. Yeah, there's so many of them. Yeah. Sauce Money. I don't have him on my list, but yeah, he's in there. I was gonna say Guru from Gangstar.
Guru was interesting. Guru he was interesting, bro. His voice, the way that, and then I saw a documentary where like he kind of like broke down his process of how he writes, and it was so ill. It was so ill, like the way that, because he's like, I come up with the title first, and then everything falls under. It's like I was like, ooh, okay, that's fire. Yeah. Definitely. Rest in peace to Guru.
I love Guru. I think Guru was one of the greatest MCs ever, and the king of monotone, and never really got his flowers either. He passed away, and nobody even talked about like.
And he passed away in a time, because now I think hip hop is moving into a time where it's embracing its legends more. You know, so when he passed, it was during a time where legends weren't being embraced like that. They were just like moved to the side. You know, like, you had your time, you know, and that sucked. I always hated that about hip hop. I always hated the fact that, you know, like the people who are legendary in our culture, they never had like that love, you know. But now with like shows like Drink Champs and many other, you know, platforms that are popping up that are embracing the legendary figures in our culture, it's beautiful. But yeah, definitely Guru deserves those flowers.
They should, yeah. And the other one I was gonna say was one you said as well, which is Razkaz. I think Razkaz is very underrated.
What? Razkaz is crazy, yo.
He's nice.
Crazy, yo. Multi-syllabalistic, like technical rapidy rap. You know what I mean? Like, and it's hard. like I'm a person that even though I got records that are considered technical rapidy rap, I'm not a big fan of it. Like that rapidy rap stuff, like I feel a lot of times they just want to overcomplicate and like it's like the dudes that play and one and they just
It's not
dribble like
It's not entertaining. No, because
yeah,
I to the ear, it's not.
yeah, it's
Right,
not sonically pleasing.
right,
But
right.
dudes like Razkaz and like he did it in such a way where it still was sonically dope. You know what I'm saying? It was still
Yeah.
sonically pleasing. You know? So yeah, definitely Razkaz needs that.
So nah, no doubt. And I think another one who I could hear the influence in you for sure. Pun. Big Pun.
We
Listen,
call him.
I could hear the influences because I was like one of the biggest fan. I was like a fanboy of Big Pun.
In my
Like
circle,
fanboy.
in my circle, we call him Santo Pun. You know what
Santo
I'm saying?
Pun, yeah, Santo
Yeah, we
Pun.
call him Santo Pun because it's like I can't even the respect and admiration that I have for Christopher Lee Rios. I have the I can't even put him on a list.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't even disrespect him to put him on the list. Like he's just so above everybody, not just because he was a phenomenal MC, but just what he represented for our people and
He
what he
legitimized
did.
us.
You know what I'm saying?
He legitimized us.
Yeah, man.
No, he
Yeah, man.
legitimized us.
And listen, and this is something that I want it to be clear, bro. And it's not like I'm deriding anybody or trying to, but a lot of that you gotta give it to Fat Joe, bro.
No, of course.
Because
Yeah, I
Fat
understand.
Joe was the mastermind behind Big Pun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he brought us the greatest Latino to ever be in hip hop. And forever you gotta just be like, damn, you did that. You know? So yeah, definitely Pun, needless to say, was an incredible influence in my life. To this day.
Yeah, nah, I agree. And the thing is that speaking of not getting flowers, Fat Joe doesn't get flowers either because look at what Fat Joe has done.
There's a lot of. I personally feel that there's a lot of false, just a lot of dirt thrown on his name because of how successful he is. You know, and sometimes when you're that successful, you're gonna rub some people. And I always say, man, any person that has money has stepped on a few toes along the way.
Yes.
That's just what it is. That's just what it is. And I feel like he gets there's false narratives placed on him. I feel personally.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the man. I never met him. Never. I never been in the same room with him. Never. Just as a fan from the outside looking in and being the observant person and the person that likes to piece things together, I just feel there's a lot of false narratives that revolve around Fat Joe.
So here's the thing, right? The funny thing is, I had the pleasure of interviewing Cuban Link a long time ago.
I actually know, but I've met Cuban many times. And one of the most talented MCs out there. Like that song "Letter to Pun," one of my favorite records to this day. That beat, the way he wrote it, everything.
And I wanted to say this to him, and I kind of did offline, but I didn't. I wanted to be respectful to his legacy, and I always try to big up my guests. So one of the things I felt like with him was that I felt like he lost that spark for the music. Like I don't think he loves it as much as maybe he once did. And so I feel like that prevented him from getting to that and the issues he had before. But it's almost impossible to be blackballed in this day and age. And
that doesn't exist anymore. Just with
you can't.
How independence works and how you can just release direct to consumer and all that shit.
Yeah, and so like I always got upset when I thought about like what the Terror Squad was, and I kind of like was always thinking about them. There was so much talent there, like
a lot of talent.
They could all spit. Now Pun was the nucleus. Don't get me wrong. They lost something when Pun was gone. That kind of
he was the glue that held it together. He was the glue. And Cuban is because as an MC, as an artist, I understand sometimes we fall out of love with this shit.
Yeah,
there was a time that I had fallen out of love with it, you know, and it was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, you know. But somehow, some way, I found that spark again, you know. Maybe that's what he needs. He needs something to come into his life. I don't know. I don't know the situation. I'm not connected
I
to
hope
that in
so. I
any
hope he
way,
does. Yeah.
you know. But maybe, you know, that once he finds that spark, that's gonna, you know, reinvigorate like his belief, because sometimes it's about belief, man. So when you believe that you're blackballed in that, like in that sense, right? Because I know that that's what he believes, you know. And when you believe that you're blackballed, and maybe all signs point to you being blackballed, it creates a situation where you don't believe that, no, you believe in yourself that no matter how good you can be, nothing is ever going to break that wall.
It's up
Exactly,
here.
the power
Up
of the
here.
mind, yo. You know, so at that point, it's probably, and again, I don't know the man, but just just looking at it, he probably is just like, no matter what I do, it's never gonna hit for me. So, you know, so maybe that translates into the music, and the things that he does moving forward. You know.
No doubt, man. And I hope that he finds that, because I as a person, and obviously as a fan of his music as well. Um, so before we wrap it up,
Yeah,
tell the audience what you have coming up. I know you're working on some stuff. This is your
yeah.
time. Go ahead,
I
plug
mean,
your stuff.
sheesh, we got a bunch of stuff. So, all right. So first and foremost, right now, the main priority is not even a project of mine. Right now, the main priority is my man Insane Killer Kane's project. It's called Rose from the Concrete. Insane Killer Kane is from Jackson Heights, Queens. He's one of my big homies, as they say. You know, one of the most talented producers in the city. Period. Like, if you want that hard New York feel, go to Insane Killer King. He'll give you that feeling, that, yeah, like, remember them beats that used to be like, ooh,
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that King brings that feeling. So we have a record right now that we're about to release, and a visual that we're gonna release off that project. It's called NYC. Now, it's the lineup is crazy. So this song is produced by Insane Killer Kane, and it's featuring Capone of Capone and Noriega,
Mm.
Tragedy Gaddafi, Royal
Woo.
Flush, and
Mm-hmm.
Nature.
Ah.
Bro,
Right.
that song is the the it's epitome of New York City, bro. So we're actually we're right now in the process of getting the video filmed, and then I think we put it for release. It's probably gonna come out, I think, August 5th. I think the release date is for that. But I want y'all to stay tuned to that. I'm also working on a project for myself. So during this whole cancer thing, kind of want to touch on this because this is dope too.
Go ahead.
So during this whole cancer thing, you go through a lot of depression. You feel very down. There's days that you don't even want to get out of bed. So I want to shout out to my cousin, because he's actually my blood cousin, DJ Swayze. Uh, he came back from Afghanistan. He's a soldier, so he was in Afghanistan. He was in Korea, and in those moments, he picked up producing, but he didn't say anything to me. He knew his older cousin was in the music business, but he was like the soldier that he is. He was sharpening his blade, and he was like just getting good and getting good and getting good until he got to a point where he was like, "Yo, I've been making beats for like 3 years." I'm like, "What?" like, like,
Wow.
why didn't you tell me now? He's like, "Nah, I had to feel like I was ready, and now I feel like I'm ready." So during this whole process of going through cancer and chemo, he would come to my crib, and like with his MPC, and he would just be like, "Nah, we're gonna make music, bro." And he was like my rock, you know what I mean? Like, he was like, "Nah, nah, nah, we're gonna sit here, let's make music, let's chill." And in that birthed the concept of a project called Queens, which is an ode to a tribe called Quest, which is
Yeah. Of
a legendary group
course. Of course.
coming out of Queens. You know what I'm saying? And just it's such a I know every artist says this, because you kind of have to, but it's like
Yeah. Of course.
it's the dopest project I've ever put together. You know what I'm saying? Like, what we're doing is kind of like we're trying to recreate the vintage feel, but not sound dated.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right. Yeah.
like take these iconic samples. So, for example, the single that we're going to be dropping, it's dropping July 22nd on all streaming platforms, called In the Ghetto. In the Ghetto on all streaming platforms on July 22nd. That an iconic sample from a Cool G Rap and Nas record called Fast Life. That and I remember I was sitting in the house and I was like, yo, wouldn't it be dope if we could figure out a way to recreate that sample, but not sound like them, but just take that sample and just recreate it and make it into our own.
I saw you when you were recording it.
Yeah, and
you put it. You was on live, right? You did a live.
Yeah. I mean, I got the studio here in the crib. You know, we record here and then we go and get it mixed and mastered at the bigger studios. But we try to be self-sufficient. And he would not. But my cousin DJ Swayze, he was just like, "All right, give me 5 minutes." And he was like, chopped up the sample, and he was like, "How about this?" And I was like, "Oh shit, what the heck, yo, what? Yeah, let's do that." So and the record, like the song itself, I kind of like, I wanted to bring forth just a different vibe than what you're hearing right now, because right now it's very low vibrations, dark sounds.
Yeah.
Everybody's
depressed.
Everybody's like, and everybody wants to be the biggest killer. Everybody wants to be the biggest gangster in the world, And where I grew up, man, the biggest gangsters used to wear a smile on their face, man, because they didn't want nobody to know that they was gangster out here. They just wanted to just, do what they got to do and nobody know about it.
They didn't say nothing.
Nothing.
You would never know.
Never know. So I was like, yo, I wanna. It's summer. And I know New York City in the summer in itself is always kind of wild. And I'm And right now, how New York is, I'm like, damn, it's about to be a wild summer. I was like, damn, what can I do to maybe just kind of bring some balance? I was like, let me release a record that has good vibrations, good vibes. You know what I'm saying? So like, kind of, if I have to compare it to anything, I just wanted to bring that like summertime, like that that Will Smith record, that kind of vibe. You know what I mean?
Right.
And bring that, man, and just like, yo, play this shit at the barbecues, play this shit when you're chilling with the family, when you want to just have a good vibe, and the lyrics in itself is just talking about just a typical day of how New York City in the summer would be, but a good day when you hollering at your shorties,
right.
You chilling, you outside, back in the day we used to drink 40s, and just be like, just vibing out, having a good day, So that's kind of like the vibe that In the Ghetto, and it's coming out July 22nd on all streaming platforms. And
looking forward to that. Looking forward to that, man. Definitely. And damn, man, that time went by fast, man. Man, I could do this all day, bro.
Word, bro. Word, bro.
First of all, I want to thank you for coming on.
Absolutely, my brother.
ENY The Artist. When it comes out, definitely I gotta hear it. I can't wait.
I got a video. We're shooting a video to In the Ghetto on July 2nd in Queens. So if you're available, come down, because we're gonna
July 2nd.
The July 2nd. So we're gonna do like a whole cookout situation. It's gonna be like, we're gonna bring that vibe to life. You know what I'm saying? So just come through.
I'd love to meet. Yeah. I'd love to meet in real life. Yeah. We'll talk offline.
Absolutely.
We'll talk offline. Definitely. That sounds good. Yo, my brother ENY, drop your socials so that everybody
ENY The Artist, man. Everything New York. ENY stands for Everything New York, by the way. So at ENY The Artist on everything.
All right, my brother ENY The Artist, man, repping Queens. Yo,
Santos.
My brother. Yo, my brother. I'll talk to you, man. Thank you. It was good. It was good talking to you. We'll see each other soon.
Absolutely. Love.
Be well. Love, bro. So, man, that was great. That was really good. You know what I mean? That was great. ENY, I loved hearing his story, and I'm looking forward to seeing the new project and everything he has coming out now. So, I want to thank him for coming on, ENY The Artist, and of course, don't forget to follow him on social media. Don't forget to follow me on social media, Instagram at Santos Thread Shop, as well as TikTok on Santos Thread Shop. And of course, as always, don't just say what you mean or mean what you say. Say with your chest.